Throughout the years, I've seen changes back in time when I was young, when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, 10. In any community you went to, and you got in with the children that are playing, they all were speaking Indian. There was seldom any English used. The games, everywhere. And that's the way it was until about the mid-40s, latter part of the 40s, it started to change. The Indian children were being pulled into talking English. And about the mid-50s, none of the little children anymore spoke Indian. It changed awful fast once it started to change. I think it's these school systems that took a lot of it away. They used to have a school in Mission, the Ursuline Academy. That was a real bad place for losing your language, because they used to catch kids talking Indian over there and beat up on them. They'd whip them. You can't talk Indian. Then before that, they had a father's school, and that stripped a lot of language away. Then after that, they sent him off to government schools. And his government schools done the same thing. They stripped away the language, culture of the Indian. A lot of young people lost their identity there. They come back and they didn't know who they were. They didn't know what it's all about. And today, we have this school here we call Nkwusm. One fire, one family. And we're teaching these young ones here. They're preschool age. We're teaching them our language. And I'm hoping that in the springtime, when the weather gets good, we'll be able to take field trips, and I can teach them the other things, the medicinal plants and nature, and how they are one with nature. Wildlife, everything out there. We're not strangers to wildlife. We're one with them. That's how we grew up. That's how we learned as Indian people. That's what we were taught by our forefathers and our parents and all those before us. They said, you're not a stranger up in the mountains. They said, you're one with nature, you're one with wildlife, you're one with everything. So I learned that. I learned to become one with nature. And that's the kind of life I live today. I go up in the mountains, I have no fear of anything attacking me. And I think it's just the other way around. They're afraid I'm going to attack them. So anyway, we make friends up there. We got friends, we got in my home where I live, I have deer, bear come through my yard. I don't bother them. If they feel they can trust me, that's fine, And I want to teach these young kids here, these little preschoolers. I want to teach them the language, the proper pronunciations of every word. Nowadays we have a language that kind of a slang, it's kind of we use short words. And we take a word and we take part of it off. And it sounds a little bit different. But some of us get used to hearing that sound and say, well, that's what that means. But actually the word is longer. And that's what I'm bringing out here. I want these children to learn the long pronunciation of all the words, so that when they grow up, they'll have the proper way to speak. And if they become teachers, they can teach that. Because the power is in the language. The wisdom is in the language. And all the things that make us who we are is in that language. If we can't practice our language, then who are we? If we can't speak our language, who are we? We just kind of go right into the mainstream out there and be lost. That's why we're doing this. That's why the school is important. It's a lifelong dream of mine. And everything I know, I want to teach it to somebody. I want to be able to hand it to them, say, here, I know this, I want you to have it. And there's never-ending source of where it's coming from. Because I live it out there, I live that life. I'm one with nature, I know what it's all about out there, so I can take that and I can bring it and give it to these children. that this is yours, you take it and you put it in your life. And one day you look back and you'll be happy that you've done this. So that's why we're working so hard here. I never want to see this school go down, because I'm going to be here every day, and I'm going to be teaching, because I want them to learn who they are and who they're going to be down the road. I want to give them a direction, and I want to give them a goal. And one day they're going to be out there and they're going to be speaking their language. That's where the power is, the wisdom. A long time ago, people spoke Indian. We lived a good life. We didn't have no worries about this and that, you know. We lived a good life. We lived off the land. Everything was from the land. Our Mother Earth provided, you know. And nowadays, it's pretty hard to do that because there's so much farming, so much things going on out there. Canvas Prairie, we've lost all our canvas because they plowed under. All the different places have been raped of its natural resources. You know, but today we still think that we can survive. And we're going to survive. The language, by all means, must survive, because that's where the power and the wisdom is. And that's what I'm teaching these little ones out here. They're going to learn. I teach them how to listen first, and then once they learn to listen, they can pick up everything. We got some little tiny ones that are picking it up pretty good. The older ones are getting up there. So we work at it continuously. We want it to work. We want it to be something that we can look upon for strength, wisdom, and power, to know that we are who we are. And these young people will never lose their identity, because they will have it in their hearts, in their soul, in their spirit, and in their hands. They will have it. And we're going to give it to them. We're going to do our best to. We got a couple of elders here that's working, Stephen Small, Sam, and myself. And we got Sophie Mays, who's very fluent in the language. And then we got the young people here that are learning. And during the summer months, we teach them. We want them to become fluent. The founders of this school, where we work with them during the summer, and we give them more and more of the language. So they too can be teachers. They can sit where I sit, and they can teach what I teach. That's my goal, to teach these young people this. That they can one day sit in my spot and they can teach what I'm teaching. Word for word, thought for thought. There are all these things. That's what I want to do. I got it to give, so I'm going to give it. I got it to give. It don't do no good staying in here. It'll do more good if it's out there in the hearts of all these young people. We want it to work. We want it to become something that's going to be powerful for our nation. And I'm hoping that one day we'll have our own school building. And we can have different rooms where we can teach different things. And I'm hoping for that. I'm praying for it. Not hoping for it, praying for it. So that can happen. So that's what I want to share with you today. I want you to know what we're doing here. It's not just another school. It's not just a school down in Arley. It's a powerful school, and we're going to make it even more powerful. Because these children are going to walk out the door and they're going to be talking Indian. That's my goal. Language.